holding a town hall out there on the right side of your screen following the very latest of the Israel-Hamas war. That top right box, a live look at the Gaza skyline as missile strikes continue amid the Israel-Hamas war at this hour. And that bottom box, a live look out there in Washington, D.C. as President Joe Biden offering some of his harshest criticism yet of Israel's government, saying that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has to change and this government in Israel is making it very difficult for him to move. That's a quote from President Joe Biden. I'm Jeanne Francine joining you this Friday morning. It is December 15th. Let's go to our second 2-minute commercial break of the hour. When we come back, continuing with those live events, top stories, and headlines of the day.
For rain that we're having, our temperatures should, for the most of us at least, stick in the mid to upper 60s. Now, our morning low temperatures really were much milder than what we've seen for most of the week, where we had been in the 40s for a while. Now we were only down into the 50s, and then some of us even remained in the 60s for this morning's low temperatures. Currently, we find ourselves in the 60s across the board, it looks like. 63 over in College Station, Belleville at 65, Intercontinental Airport sitting at 66, up in the Livingston area about 62, right on the water in Galveston, current temperature 67 degrees. So what's interesting is if you compare the temperature right now to the same time yesterday, we're actually warmer in some spots, but we're not going to be able to continue to warm much longer as we did yesterday, as we saw yesterday with that, again, breaks in the clouds. We got a little bit of sunshine helping to kind of heat things up. It's going to continue to be a breezy day. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds out of the east are going to be pretty standard, and we'll have some areas even a little bit higher there in Galveston with 20 mile an hour winds right now. So let's talk about temperatures overall, because it is a front that's moving through tonight. But this front is not an Arctic blast. It's just sort of some Pacific air with a reinforcing shot. So these are high temperatures that we're looking at. As I mentioned, we're up close to 70, but not quite into the 70s today. And then that cold front moves through. The high temperature tomorrow down around 60 degrees. With the breezy conditions, it probably will feel like it's more in the 50s. And then we have this slow warming trend. And again, this is strictly temperatures. We're not talking about any rain on this particular graphic, but there's certainly that rain that we're going to need to keep into the discussions for tonight, and we could see that in one of our futurecasts here with our rainfall expectations. You'll notice that the heavier rains a little bit further to the north, and overall we're looking for generally that 1 to 2 inches, maybe some isolated areas over 2 inches. And our concern is if that all falls in a short amount of time, that's going to create that street flooding that we talked about. But if it spreads out, it won't be as much of an issue. But I know a lot of you have some plans that you're wanting to do. It's Friday night and it's close to the holidays. You probably got a Christmas party or some other kind of party that you want to head to. So what I really want to stress is the rain that you're seeing during the day today is not going to be the same kind of rain tonight. So if you're moving around this evening and you see the rain start, take it a little bit more seriously because it's going to be more of an intense rainfall. So the heavy rain comes around this evening. Some of those could be strong. Thunder and lightning certainly mixed in with a few gusty winds and some heavy downpours. But that's going to clear quickly, and we're going to be really left for the most part with a pretty decent looking weekend. Here's what we currently have on the Fox Red Storm Seeker radar. We have some rain activity down to the southwest. It's a little bit more measurable. You see a little bit of return here in the downtown Houston area. But overall, the rain is light at the moment. Here's that front, though, and here's where we certainly are having the stronger storms embedded within this boundary as well. This boundary continues to move from the west to the east, eventually getting to our part of the southeast Texas after sunset. So here is what the Weather Prediction Center is concerned with, and that's that excessive rainfall In other words, flooding. And in this case, we're talking about that short-term street flooding. And they're giving it a fairly isolated chance, about a 5% that it could be happening for anywhere in the Fox 26 viewing area. And it's going to be after dark, so we're extra precaution, and that's the primary reason why we have the storm alert day. Now, there is going to be a mix-in with some thunderstorms. This is the severe weather outlook, and I just sort of went over the fact that we're not expecting severe weather. If we were, we would be in this threat of a 1 up to 5. What we have right now is thunderstorms expected, sort of those garden variety thunderstorms, and those could certainly be mixed in a little bit, with some of those being a little bit strong. But overall, again, we're not looking for anything to become too intense. So we'll put a little bit more of a time frame on this and go through our futurecast, where we see the storms entering our western counties a little bit earlier. And then when we get closer in towards midnight, you begin to see these storms moving on through, and some of those, as we talked about, could be a little bit intense. But look how they clear by around 9 o'clock. And then that mess all moves over to the Florida area. This mess is really going to sort of ride up the East Coast. And so the East Coast is looking at a much different scenario for the weekend from what we're seeing. We're going to be clearing out and looking really nice. Most of Saturday and Sunday is going to be a mess for the East Coast. Our allergen levels have actually improved recently. We're now looking at low levels across the board, and actually tree pollen not able to kind of even pick up on that at all. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies right now. We talked about the winds out of the east at around 12 miles an hour. Those east winds not really making a whole lot of difference on the temperature or the moisture, but it will just sort of kind of feel a little bit breezy if you're moving around a little bit. Today specifically, here's what we're looking at as far as the temperatures go. We're going to be able to climb up to the upper 60s, and then those showers and storms continue to move on through, and they'll hold quite steady as the rain gets a little bit closer into our area. We're really going to keep those that sun at a limited capacity. Normally, for today's date, we would see 65 for the high and 46 for the low. That's the 30-year average. So we weren't able to cool down this morning. We will be getting back to these numbers. You're going to see a lot of this in the 7-day forecast with some sunshine. So I think that's going to be something to look forward to. Here's a look at Futurecast again. As we move these storms on through, we're going to clear that out pretty early in the day with those mid-50s. And then as we continue to look at the rest of the day, Saturday, that sunshine is going to be a predominant feature, but it's going to have to take some time. It's going to kind of creep in there just a little bit, working its way toward that. So we're going to again focus on that futurecast, and again continue to move everything as the storms move on through. They'll move through early. So this is 6:30. Hopefully we'll be able to get that cleared out. All right. So as I wrap things up, just a quick reminder that however you're watching me right now, whether you're on Fox Local, the smart TV app, or if you're on your device using the Fox 26 weather app. I appreciate that. Always want to get that Fox weather app on there when you can. Stay connected with us. When you're moving around this evening, use that radar imagery, see where you are, see where the storms are, keep in a safe place for the rest of the evening. And we'll see you, however you're watching me right now, back here in about 20 minutes.